Well, guys, our marathon of racing has come to an end. We did FL2K streetcar class. We were in the B group. We lost. We did Florida no time. Then it was Darlington. Then it was Florida no time. Then it was 352 shootout. Then it was testing, all in the month of October. We lost everything basically but the roll racing at Streetcar Takeover Darling. So one would say this is a more successful roll race car than drag car at the moment. I would say that's probably accurate, but also I'm tired. I've raced a lot and my truck is just cooked right now. It needs some TLC, it needs an oil change, it needs to be cleaned out, it needs to be washed and cleaned on the inside, and all the miscellaneous parts and supplies need to be put in the shop, organized. I need to take inventory of my things, order some consumables, and I guess that's kind of just it. But I am making a schedule for us to go racing in November, December, January, and then starting to think about February just a little bit. Got some plans. It's not exactly on season of racing, but this area we can get a lot of racing happening. So hopefully in the southeast area, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, maybe we'll get some racing in, we'll find some stuff. That's what I'm looking towards right now. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about here. So when you open up the truck, it's just full of things. A mess, dirty, receipts everywhere. Racing. So now to start getting to work on this stuff. But this old girl, I think it has 17, 18 passes just in October, and then it has a few before in September, right at the end when we had to pull the engine out to have it checked right before FL2K. So it has, like, I think basically, you know, you can say like 19 or 20 passes on it in the last like 45 days. So that's pretty good, I would say. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot when you're talking about, you know, a 7-second car and like all it takes to do a pass. Those are, I think 90% of those are competition passes too, which is cool. So it's got a good workout. Now let's get this thing unloaded here and put it back in the shop and get the shop back in order, because this place feels like I've just been like throwing stuff in it, taking stuff out, not organizing anything, and I'm ready to organize it. Also, we got some chip updates coming soon this week, so that'll be cool. And then we can get back to kind of our regularly scheduled stuff. We got a new little friend in the shop, I guess. This is a 3-foot snake skin. I don't know what kind it is. Probably just like a rat snake of some sort, or like a black racer, they call them. I don't really love that name, but that's what they call them. But yeah, so it was like laying right here, like coming into the shop. So he probably molted this out. Is that what they call it? Molted? Shed this skin in the last couple days here, because that would be really the only time I wouldn't have noticed. So a couple days, shed this skin, and he's either in the shop or he's not in the shop. I guess that's the only real two states of being of anything can be in this world. It's either in the shop or not in the shop. It's not really anywhere else. There's not really any other state anything is in this world. But yeah, so he's one or the other. In the shop, not in the shop. Hopefully not in the shop. I don't mind snakes, but I don't really need it in my vicinity. I don't really want to run into it. You know, he can be like a silent killer out there like Batman killing rats at night. I don't need that in my I don't need to see that. I don't need to be around that. So he can just do that on his own. I have respect for him. Keep it up, but keep it out of here. Thanks, bud. Or do it when I'm not around. So that's where we're at. Now, fun. All right, under the car, going over everything. In the last video, I was talking about thinking about moving my lower control arms, and this is what I was talking about. So the lower you go here, you get more bite. And the higher up, in theory, you get like less bite. So if you have a lower power car, you kind of go higher up and it doesn't bite as hard. A lot of people will add to this, and then they'll add like 3 holes that you can go down so that you can get this at a different angle. Right now, obviously it's in full droop, but normally it's about like, it tilts down only about like, I don't know, like a couple degrees. But when it's at this hole, it's almost flat. It's like very close to flat, and this is where I started racing the car at, and I only ever moved it to here, and it's been working really well. So I'm thinking about trying this again to see if I can get more bite to get it like to leave a little bit harder. I have a theory that it has too much bite right now, but it is just a theory. I need to talk to some more people, but moving this is really easy. I can do it at the track, so I can go there, test with it lower, test with it higher, test all the way down, like stuff like that. And I noticed the car was starting to separate a little bit better towards the end there, but the front end is still just not cooperating. I know you guys see a lot of cars like leave and they'll separate like crazy, and a lot of that is to do with the shocks. These are some Viking Crusader double adjustable, or no, they're just Viking double adjustable coilovers. I don't even think that they're Crusaders, but they are very, very simple. All 4 corners of these shocks when I bought it were like $1,000. Those coilovers that you see on like a lot of cars that separate really hard are like 3-4 grand. So just know we're working with a very different system here. I don't have a 4-link. It is just a torque arm car still. Very basic stuff. I've never really adjusted the torque arm. I went as max high as possible, and I never moved it from there. It gives it's a leverage arm, so if you're not careful with them, you can get a solid wheelie out of it. Maybe we can get it to separate a little bit better if we're doing that, but I don't know if the torque arm is really worth messing with. It more comes down to lower control arms, and I only have, 5 holes of adjustability right here, and these are just the single spot, so not really much I can do. Anti-roll bar, very simple. I can just twist it like that. Put some twists in the passenger side the other day, and it helped it leave a lot, helped it not twist as much. And then this is just a panhard bar to keep the axle centered. So we don't really have like a huge amount of adjustability. The shocks haven't been adjusted in a while. There's not really a whole lot that needs to be done with them. This is obviously just for ride height, and then you just get like clicks in compression and rebound. So not really a whole lot. Compression is how fast it'll compress, and rebound is how fast it'll come back up. So that's what you get. A lot of shocks are designed to pump air basically and force separation, but these obviously are simple. They don't do any of that. But yeah, and then in the front, same deal. Vikings, double adjustable. Like, nothing against these Vikings, they've been awesome. They're just not like a Menser or an AFCO type of shock like that, where they're like next level stuff, where they got a lot going on. Very intelligent stuff. Like, the valving is very precise. These are like, hey, I got a Camaro, and that's what they send. But nothing against them. They've been working really well for us. We've been 117 60 foot on them, and they've been in the car for 2-3 years without any issue. I took the fronts off and cleaned them up and made sure they were all good this year. Haven't really touched the back, but they've just been good. So it's honestly one of the hard things on this car is driving time. So the amount of miles that are put on the shocks when you're driving on the trailer and the bouncing is really what is the hardest on them. That's when you'll get them the hottest. A drag pass doesn't really, like, it's not crazy wear, but then you think about, 1,000+ miles of just bounce, 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 bounce. And full disclosure, I don't zero them out before I make a drive. I should, but I never do, because I know I always worry about forgetting to put them back to their correct spot. But I'm gonna stop talking there and just continue to nut and bolt the car and probably drain some fluids out and do some little refresh. Trans fluid might be a little stinky, but we'll see if it's burnt. I just changed it, but it gets hot. Well, I was on the fence a bit about changing the trans fluid, mostly because I didn't think it had all that much heat into it or burnt up too much or anything like that, but I decided to change it, and I am kind of glad I did because it looks pretty thin, smells a little burnt, and I don't love the color of it, so time to swap it out. Also, nothing like working on your car with some World Cup finals in your ear. I'm not even watching it, I'm just listening, and pretty great. Also, I got a new Rife sensor on the way because this transmission sensor ripped a while ago and I hadn't replaced it yet. So put a trans temp sensor back in this thing. This is the connector. This is where it ripped off. Unfortunately, they're just kind of fragile here. That's just the nature of these type of sensors. But it'd be nice to replace this thing and have that data again because I lost it. I hadn't had that data for a while. Unfortunately, it would have been really nice to know for this last outing where I was trying to see if maybe the transmission was just overheated. That could have been part of why it was going slow. If the fluid was like thin and overheated and it needed to be replaced so that it's thicker, tightens up the converter, that kind of stuff. I don't think that the clutches were slipping, but I do think that the converter could be looser because of that. So, just part of it. Okay, next up is sitting here watching some Flow Racing World Cup, and I am going through data logs. I got a notepad out, I got my time slips out, and I'm gonna try to break down everything that I can and learn everything that I can from these 3 data logs. Write down, you know, notes for each pass, and then I can kind of go back and forth and see what was different, see what my 8th mile was, see what my 330 stuff was doing, see my shift points, all that good stuff, boost levels. I know I hit my rev limiter in 1st gear in my 2nd pass, so that's a variable. My 3rd pass, I was not in it all the way to the 8th mile, so that's a variable, and then just see what I can figure out. So learning. So after hunting through data, this is when I'm thinking slowed my 60 foot down right here. So you can see this is when I let off the trans brake button. Red line is RPM, green line is boost. So when I let off the trans brake button, it almost had a lag before it got into the boost ramp. There was like a split second before it really started building boost. And this is on the 3rd pass. So let's go to like another pass here, and I can show you guys what we're kind of working with. So there, it's much smaller where it finally where it starts building the boost ramp. Much smaller. And then when we go to like another pass, let's see like one of my other passes. So here's a 780 pass on the old setup. Let's see what this one did. So here is a old pass. Let's see if we can move stuff around here so you guys can see it better. So there is like a 780 pass on the old combo. It was way less of a delay before we're building boost. So not sure exactly what that issue is. We're leaving on this is an old time. I haven't really looked at this. So we were leaving on about 24 pounds of boost and 5,000 RPM. And on this last pass, we were leaving at 5,800 RPM and 29 pounds of boost, but the delay on getting it in takes a little bit more. This was also a smaller turbo, so it was a little bit different responsive. And then max boost on this pass was about 46 pounds of boost. Max boost on these passes were about 43 pounds of boost. So that's kind of where we're at. 8,600 RPM shift. This was an 8,100 RPM shift, and this was an 8,100 RPM shift, and then this one was 9,000. So I did pass 1, pass 2, and pass 3 I did leave, and all kinds of stuff I broke down, but nothing too crazy. So IATs, 46 degree IAT start, and a 71 IAT end. So this one was actually better. We had a 32 degree IAT start and a 62 end because I was really icing it down as much as I could. The car was pretty cool. So we did pretty well on IAT starts on these. We were basically about 30 degrees every time, and that's Celsius, not Fahrenheit. But aside from that, it was leaving well, and it's going faster than it used to on these passes. Let's pull up the full slip for this pass. I have it somewhere. So this was that time slip there, 785 at Snowbirds, I don't know, a year and a half ago. And then here is my time slip from before. So it's clearly making some more power because it went 509 in the 8th, but it had a slower 60 foot and slower 330. So it was making more power out the back, and I was out of it by the 8th mile. And then here's another slip from the other day in Darlington when it was really cool out. So it went 327 in the 330 versus this 329, and then it went a 498 at 144 and 644, and then I lifted before the quarter mile, so it went a 775, and it probably would have went like a 765 if I stayed in it, just based off of what it was doing out the back. And it had 4 mile an hour on this pass, and then I lifted early, but that was because I already had lost the race. So that's where I'm at with data. I have not figured out the issue. I have a sense that it's because we're slow to ramp boost in. So if we can ramp boost in quicker and more boost, which I know we can throw some more boost at it, this thing can definitely take it. We can get a lot faster, and I think we can shorten up the boost ramp. Basically, that's how fast you're gonna go, how fast you can ramp it in. And if you can ramp it in sooner in the pass, you're gonna go a lot faster, and we can try to ramp it in a lot sooner. So I'll send these off to Alpha. He's at World Cup right now, but as soon as he is available to data log with me, I'm gonna sit down with him and try to learn some more and go through some of this stuff. But that's where we're at. So I learned some stuff, figured out some things, did a lot of struggling and testing here with my data and learning, and I think we're on the right path here, just trying to figure it all out. But it's the fun of data, fun of endless stuff. So I'm gonna end it off there, and let me know if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, anything about the car. But that's gonna do it. Thanks for watching. Keep it saucy. I'll see you next time.